Alright, so let's look at some factored forms of just a regular two-termed binomial. So if we have 27y squared plus 18y, that's what you would be given and asked to find the factored form. What you would do is you'd try to find out what goes into 27 and 18 at the same time. So what you can do is you can factor tree 27, so 9 times 3, and then 3 times 3, and then 18, which is 6 times 3, and 3 times 2. So you look for common terms. So we have 2 3's and 2 3's. So the common term between 27 and 18 is 3 times 3, which is actually 9. So if we take that, and we also can take out a y squared from each one, because the variable is the same. So if we divide out a 9y and a 9y, what we can do is we can go ahead and divide that out. So 27 divided by 9 right here is going to turn into 3. And then you have y times y. One of the y's cancels out, so you have 3y. Then 18 divided by 9 is 2, and your y's cancel out. So whatever you divided out, though, has to go in front, because you can't just kick it to the curb. You always have to keep that 9y or whatever you divided out. This is your factored form. And if you notice, this is your GCF. So let's look at another one. So if we had 10r plus 20. Now I'm sure most of you probably look at that and go, oh, 10 can go in both of them. So let's go ahead and divide out a 10 from both of them. Whatever you divide out goes in front. This is your GCF. And we divided it out. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. So you have 1r plus 20 divided by 10 is 2. And so we have our factored form of that polynomial. Okay, let's take a look at something a little different. Let's look at negative 3q minus 6. Okay. Well, if we look at both of those, we know, okay, well, 3 can go into both of them. Well, we also notice that they're both negative. So we could take out a negative 3 from both of these terms. So remember, whatever we take out, we go in front. So that turns into a 1q, and then that turns into a positive 2. Now remember, you can always go ahead and distribute back in to make sure that it does indeed equal what we started out with. And so we did that right. Now if we had one that was a little different, like this one, 91r plus 48 RT. Now I'm sure you're probably wondering what goes into 91. Well, 91 can be factored into 13 and 7. And then of course 48 is 8 and 6. So we have no common terms in there. But we do notice that we have an r in both of the terms. So our GCF, what we're going to factor out, is actually just a variable. So we factor out that variable, and we find that it's 91 plus, and those r's cancel out again, so it's 48t. So whatever you factor out may not even be a number, it might be a variable. And that variable is still your GCF. So one more example. So what if we had 30rq squared minus 50r squared q? Well, they both end in 0, so we know 10 goes into both of them. And we see that we have an r and a q in both of them. So let's divide out a 10rq. And when we divide that out, that turns into 3, and the r's cancel out, q minus 5r, and the q's cancel out. And remember, whatever you divided out goes in front. And so this is now your factored form.